to the Spicy Booknook, where we discuss all of our favorite and not so favorite dark and dirty book series. We're your hosts, Aj.
And Tay. So without further ado, let's get into it. Today we will be reviewing Credence by Penelope Douglas. Please be aware that there will be spoilers and explicit content for mature audiences only. The trigger warnings of this book are misogyny, incest, rape, sexual assault, domestic abuse and violence, child neglect recounted, and suicide.
Okay, so just a brief overview of the book. So our book is about a main character named Tiernan, and pretty much her parents commit suicide, and she is sent to live off with Uncle Jake, who is her dad's stepbrother, and his two sons. They live in Colorado, somewhere on a damn mountaintop in the middle of fucking nothing. And so pretty much she's sent to live there with them, and everybody fine apparently on that mountain. These are just fine ass men that she sent to live with, and mind you, this is her like step uncle, so he's like not really
I
her,
mean,
like
I have to agree with you. Like the way that it was explained to me in the book, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it was that his or her dad had a brother who wasn't even related to either one of their parents. Like they didn't have a blood relation at all. It was
yes,
just
that's
he
yes.
called brother.
So before we get into it, a lot of people don't like the book because of incest.
And it's taboo. I won't lie, it's taboo as
It's
hell.
interesting. I will say, when I first heard about the book, I was like, what kind of concept is this? I don't know if I'm gonna like it. But then when I started reading it, I clearly need therapy and I'm sick in the head. And that's just
We not book shaming, okay? We're not king shaming, we're not book shaming.
that's just, I don't know. It was just a really good book. Okay. So overall, what would you rate the book?
I actually rated this book a 3 my first time reading it. After going through it again, I rated it a 3.5. And I feel like I'm being harsh, but um I have reasons. I really have reasons. What about you?
So I rated it a 4. I forgot how much I liked this book. So to prep for this podcast, y'all, I reread the whole entire book in one day because I meant to skim it, but then I forgot how much I liked it, and I actually ended up rereading. So I'm rated a 4. I really did like this book. I forgot how much I liked it when I read it the first time.
I mean, it's a good book. Don't get me wrong. The writing is there, everything. The only thing I think my two biggest things was that I didn't like that instead of her like ending up in at the end, like ending up with everyone, it was just one person. And I was just like, that one person was just like my enemy throughout the whole book. And so, I mean, I just, I didn't, I didn't have that, like, that happy ending that I wanted.
Yeah, so pretty much in the book, she's stranded up there with them, and once winter comes on the mountain, and there's no getting into town. So there's Uncle Jake, the uncle, Caleb, and Noah. Those are the brothers, her step cousins or whatever the hell. And so she's pretty much stranded up there with all of them during the winter. And her and Uncle Jake become a little attracted to each other.
I mean, I was attracted to
I
Uncle
was
Jake.
attracted. I
Uncle Jake can
Baby,
get it. I'm
okay?
sorry.
Okay. Uncle Jake was a concept I didn't think I would like. And
Yeah, and I'm like I see a lot of people talk about like the age difference because like Penelope Douglas writes a lot of her characters to be younger
Mhm.
and like early teens, late teens. And so like a lot of people have a lot of uncomfortability with that, but because it's a book to me, I kind of disassociate the even the age. So I'm a little like when it comes to like trigger warnings with age play and all that stuff, like I don't have a problem with it.
I
But
mean,
I
she was
understand other
like,
people do.
she was 18. Tyranny, our character,
It was great.
she was
It was
18, turning 18.
wasn't she 17 at the time, turning 18 though?
When her and Uncle Jake first, whatever, I believe she was 18.
Yeah, because she lost her virginity to
Yeah,
him,
so
didn't
she
she?
ended up losing her virginity to Uncle Jake, and
Woo, woo,
she
good for
ended
her.
up like really falling for him. But then Noah, the other brother, was or the son, was very much attracted to her, and Caleb also was. The only thing is, Caleb cannot speak. He had a traumatic experience in the past, and so he just literally does not talk. And so, although he is attracted to Tiernan, he is very fucking mean to her because he doesn't want to share her with anybody, but he doesn't know how to communicate that. So he just does mean shit to her. So
He's
while
good as hell.
yeah, so while
'Cause
reading this, I was not a fan of him at all. I don't know. He was just not my cup of tea. Just
no, he was rude as hell. I'm sorry, but if somebody spits on me, that automatically, I don't ever want to fuck with you ever, ever.
yeah, I was not feeling him. Noah was very sweet. I felt like I wanted her to end up with Noah. I just felt like he was just closer to her age as far
I
as
gotta disagree. I did not want her to end up with Noah. I felt Noah, and hear me out. I wanted her to end up with all of them. I wanted everybody to have a piece of the pie. I mean, no pun intended,
girl.
but but no, I wanted everybody to like, I mean, it kind of built us up where like they were going to have that type of relationship. So I was really disappointed that she ended up with just one of them. And I think Jake had like a girlfriend that was like the babysitter or something. And I was like, absolutely not. Like, this is not how I wanted it to end, because I'm like, everybody should have got some. I mean, she liked everybody equally. I mean, I guess not, because I mean, obviously she picked Caleb, but Caleb was just, I mean, he was throwing all the red flags and she was just picking them up like, okay, baby, I got you. And I just, no.
I I don't know. Noah was just so sweet to her, and it was like clear that he just wanted to like move on and start, like a different life, since they lived like such a secluded life. And from the beginning, like with Caleb, I'm like, girl, how are you gonna start a whole relationship with this man? Like that just don't make no sense. Like it's not even making sense. He's not even showing that he likes you, and honestly, it's seeming more like he hates you because he doesn't know how to communicate that he does like you. And I don't know. Noah was just so sweet. I was like, oh, I just want her to end up with Noah. Like, I just wanted
Noah was
her.
a good guy.
Like, I'm not like I wanted her to fuck Uncle Jake, but I wanted her to end up with Noah.
She should have loved them all. And like, I mean, mind you, I always have had a dream of like being up in the cabin and not having to do anything but take care of myself and my home, and just be isolated. So like, I fell in love with the setting of the story so much. But when it came to like the romance, I felt like everybody should have had some. Everybody should deserve to have romance. They didn't have no love up there or nothing. Everybody deserved it. And for her to be selfish and just give it to Kayla, no, Caleb, no.
I also really liked the scenery. I was like, man, what a simple life. Like everything was just, I was like, wow, that would be so nice to just be able to kind of leave everything for a little bit and just go live somewhere so peaceful.
So would you, like, if you had the opportunity to go to the woods and like do this, would you?
I mean, what you mean do this? What you mean by that?
I don't think there's gonna be no Uncle Jake or Noah or Caleb
But
there.
just to go to the
But
woods
like
and
just
like
to go
take a
to like,
break, take a mental break in the woods, I definitely would.
yeah.
I
I mean,
definitely
like, you have to, I mean, you got to take care of yourself while you're up there, obviously, like they did. But like, I mean,
definitely. I will say that the one thing I didn't think I would like was when she was calling him Uncle Jake. I was like, that's about to be cringe as fuck. But then when they did have their sex scenes and she was calling him Uncle Jake, I was like, I'm sick in the head. Send me to therapy right now. Right the fuck now. I'm so sick.
no, because I definitely was like, are my panties getting wet?
The
Because
first, literally the first like little section, and
okay,
she called him Uncle Jake. I was like, girl, good.
you nasty
I was like, let
bitch.
me close this book. Let me close this damn book because this is too damn much for me.
I feel like the first time I read this, I texted you and I was like, bitch, did you read this? Like,
Sick,
this,
sickening,
wow.
sickening. And then I don't know their little sex scene with her, Caleb, and Noah. I was like, wow.
The couch scene, girl, when they was on the couch.
Not even that one. The one where they moved up to the bed. the actual sex scene where it was the three of them, where they like washed her off and they cleaned. I was like, oh,
That's
and that
really
that part was
cute.
so like, I was like, oh, like they cleaned her up, and they put her in the little tub, bathed her, whatever, and then they just got just straight nasty. I was like, oh Lord, this is taking a different turn.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It was a good scene, very descriptive.
Pure debauchery, honestly. Like it was. I like that's one thing I liked. All of the like smut scenes, all of the like spicy scenes were very detailed. Like I said, I was sitting there like, am I wet? Like, am I dripping? Because what is going on here? Like every scene really had me like super turned on. I very much enjoyed those scenes.
They were good. They were good. I will say, like, Penelope Douglas, I really like her writing. I really like her writing a lot. Like, this was definitely a good one.
Very dark and taboo, but with the taboo stuff, like I personally don't have a problem with it because, like I said, it's in a book and I'm not personally acting out on it, so I can separate the two. But
Yeah,
I felt
yeah.
like
Because I know a lot of people didn't like this book because they were like, "That's gross." But I'm like, I don't know. In my mind, like you said, I'm able to separate the two. Like, this is fiction. This is not real life. So, and I don't care. In my mind, I'm like, this ain't her real uncle. Okay, this ain't her real uncle. That's how I'm thinking of it.
I'm like the whole time I was like, does this girl got Stockholm syndrome or something? Because I mean,
She just wanted to be loved, and I just felt those parts where it just described how like her parents literally just like didn't care for
give a
her
damn.
as a child. Like they just were so in love with each other that they literally damn near forgot they had a child.
They went Romeo and
And
Juliet on.
they just
They
like
didn't invite her to the suicide.
and
They just said, "Boom, we finna die."
and that made me really sad because I was just like, damn, that like could you imagine where you just see your parents and they're so in love, but they literally just could give two shits about you. And you're just like in the background, just wanting a little bit of love, and they're just ignoring the fuck out of you. And then they just decide to just off themselves, and you're like, well, damn, I guess I wasn't alive or anything, not, needing my parents or anything.
Right. Like she definitely needed her parents and they were just like, have a good day, girl. Have a good day. We will see you in another lifetime. And that's kind of fucked up because she was so young. Like the fact that she hadn't even turned 18 yet to be an adult, like they should have waited. They should have waited.
Yeah, that was really sad. And I just like I felt so bad because then I felt like the only person that loved her was like, her nanny. What was her name?
Which I
Mirai,
like
or I think that was her name. I can't remember exactly her name.
I forgot how to
But
pronounce it.
yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it. But and I was like, so she actually did like love and care for her. But then she went, to live on the mountaintop with these nasty men.
What did you think about her like leaving when I think it was Caleb who asked her to leave, like to get out of there and go to college?
I was like, you about to leave? Like, I don't know. It just seemed like, remember when she started like making her furniture pieces and painting them and doing her
Mhm.
own little things? I just felt like she was finding like her own little, way of life up there. And so, yes, like I understand her going to college and stuff, but like in my mind, I was like, it just seemed like everything there on the mountaintop was peaceful for her. And I don't know. I guess I just didn't want her to go back to the real world.
Right. I wanted her to have like sweet romance on the mountain and
Yeah.
she just I feel like it wasn't so bad, but the writing was great. I liked I didn't like what was it? What was it that I didn't like? I didn't like that one girl who was like faking her pregnancy.
Cece.
Yes, like it should have been a fight in the mountains. Period. Point blank. Like everybody should have took hands because no.
But then, like, not you trying to fight over this man that don't talk. He don't speak.
That's the thing. Like he wasn't even all that for y'all to be fighting over.
Like, I don't know if it was just his energy. He was giving big dick energy. I don't know what it was, but because he definitely didn't speak.
that's one thing. How do you feel about that? Like if somebody like came and approached you and just like was like
Mute.
mute
No,
but rude,
but
how
rude. You rude and mute. Pick a struggle.
pick a struggle?
No, I just wasn't feeling it. And it was like Caleb wasn't all bad. He did have his sweet moments where she would have her nightmares and he would comfort her. She didn't know he was there. Like he did have his sweet moments, but it was kind of like the mean moments were like enough to cancel out the sweet moments
For me personally, I just like love, and I feel like they like the Vanderberg boys did not understand love at all.
no, they was doing just a whole lot of fucking, not a lot of loving.
I really like Jake. Let me rewind back to Jake because I liked him a lot. He was an asshole though, but I think he was more of an asshole because he just didn't want anybody to like.
I feel
don't know.
like when she got there, he knew like this is about to be a problem.
Yeah, like I think he didn't want anybody to actually get to the stages that they made it to, but he started it all. So like, I mean, they was all there. They was all going to participate.
Yeah.
And she was and I mean, she was you have to think she was a virgin. Like she didn't have like experiences when it came to like sex. So for her to like go and be like locked away for months in the winter with three fine ass dudes that are literally not blood related to you,
Like your
calling them
hormones.
uncle, and your hormones are off the charts, and so are theirs because they ain't getting none either. And it's you know what, the reverse harem in this book. I mean, it was given. It was it was given.
It was given. And then I don't know. I think Uncle Jake, like who I picture him as, would be on Grey's Anatomy. Sloan,
Oh,
Mark Sloan. That's
I
who I
love
picture. so,
Mark.
so then, like when I'm like reading, I'm like, this
Oh,
is
I need to
Sloan,
reread it.
and
Oh my God.
he is so fine. Like
That's
Mark Sloan from Grey's Anatomy, he's fine. So that's who I picture literally when I'm picturing Uncle Jake. I'm like, this is Sloan. This
I,
is Sloan.
I
What would
just went
you call
looking
him?
up and I'm just like,
McSteamy?
yes. McSteamy? Hell yeah.
That was the vibe. So I
I'm
really
over here
like
looking at him right now. Like I could see this. That's a good Jake.
that's a
Okay.
good Jake. That's a good Jake. Like he's not too old, but he is older, but he still has like a nice body, like that's because that's how they described him. Like they described him like he's not just this, disgusting like old man. Like they described him like, he a little older, but he takes care of himself. Like
He's a fine Uncle Jake. What you
yeah,
mean?
fine, Jake. He fine. That's so in this book, if you had to marry one, fuck one, and kill one, who you going with?
Off rip. I love this question, by the way. But off rip, Caleb's out of there. If I'm gonna marry any one of them, it's gonna be Noah because I know he'll take care of me. Um, and fuck Jake as many times as I can before I marry Noah because that dick sounds like it's amazing.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the same. Definitely Uncle Jake. Definitely marrying Noah because he just was such a sweetheart.
He's gentle and sweet and like
And
he's gonna give
sweet,
her.
and he like genuinely cared about her and like wanted to love her. And then Caleb, yeah, he did. He gone.
He did. He dead and gone to me. Honestly, once he came in there, I forgot what he called her. I feel like he called her like a slut or something. Um, and I was just like, no, this motherfucker didn't. Like,
I was done after he spit on her and wrote
yeah,
slut on her forehead. Yeah.
that's what it was. He wrote slut on her forehead.
Yeah. That was enough for me. That was enough for me. I was like, okay. Like you ain't about to just spit on me. That's
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
yeah. That was like the one part where I was like, I'm not really feeling that. And then I don't know, he was just too rough, too aggressive. And I like rough, but he was just not rough in a good way.
I mean,
But then he did have his moments where he would like gently kiss her forehead and stuff.
But
And so like,
no, you would still spit. You still spit on me every time you kiss me. I would be like, there's spit on your lips.
and then I will say, like, I was super shocked at the end where he actually talked. I didn't think that they were gonna have him like talk. I just thought, like, in my mind, when she left the mountain, I thought she was going to leave the mountain and her and Noah would meet up and they would end up being together. Even though she did love Caleb, I was like, clearly he wasn't the best choice. So I just assumed she would come to her senses and be with Noah. And so when at the end, when she like sees Noah and is all excited and then she's at home and looks in her backyard and fucking Caleb's there. And then I was like, okay, this is going to be annoying. He's not going to talk, And then
Mm-hmm.
he actually spoke, and I was like, oh my God, we get a Caleb talking. And then at the end, the last chapter is from his point of view because he finally gets to speak. And I was like, oh, that's nice. I didn't think we were going to get that. So I
Because we
appreciate
didn't
it.
get any point of views from him, really, did we?
No,
Because
no,
we
because
thought one mistake, Noah and Tiernan was the majority of the book.
yeah, no, we didn't get Caleb until the end, till he actually started like speaking.
Okay.
So I love that. And then
I'm glad
I
she had money too. Like she wasn't just a broke ass person. Like
Oh
she
yeah, she
I,
had money. She wasn't trying to just get with nobody for no money or nothing. Like
right.
she had the money. But I would also say it kind of was weird. I found it weird that her and Caleb had a baby because like and at the end of the book how they have like the baby is like in the tent with Noah and I was just like that's just so crazy to like know that your brother fucked your bitch and now there's this little baby here. And I was like, that just has to be an awkward situation.
Um
So I just feel like that would be weird that you have this baby with this man, but you also slept with this man's brother and you also slept with this man's daddy.
yeah, like how do they see a kid like this is my uncle, brother, cousin, nephew, whatever. Like
And then
what?
y'all are just like a big happy family. Like, it's fine. Just forget about it. Like, huh? How does that work?
I'm like, who did he fight again? What was the reason he got in a fight? Caleb. Because didn't he fight for her?
He like knocked over those biker like the motocross guys their bikes, remember, because Terrence was like trying to get at Tiernan.
Mm.
And then remember she was in the lake all half naked and Terrence followed her there. And then they showed up all super protective because they wasn't feeling that shit. And then remember Caleb grabbed the gun and Terrence was all mad that he grabbed the gun. And then he ended up fighting Terrence because, you know, Terrence wanted a piece of Tiernan. Everybody in that town wanted
Everybody wanted a piece of
everybody wanted a piece of Tiernan. It was a small ass town, so they don't get many new people. So when everybody seen her, they wanted her. But then Caleb had destroyed their bikes, and that's what really after that it was up from there.
Did you so happen to look at like the fan art for this book?
I did just what I've seen on Pinterest, really. Like,
And what did you think of it? Because I was like, hell no, for most of them.
well,
I
I
think
will say
they got
I
it right.
like my opinion is different because it's not really fan art that was on my Pinterest board. It was more just like actual people, like actual actors that people were like, this is who I would see as the characters. And so that like I agreed with what people were saying. I didn't see any like other like kind of like animated fan art or anything.
I seen one that was like some people. I don't know who their actors were, but I didn't like them. But I've been seeing a couple of them, and I'm like, they're not bad. Um,
I've seen there's quite a few on my Pinterest board, and I'll say they look pretty accurate.
mm,
But as long like as long as Sloan is Uncle Jake in my head, that's all I need. Like that's all I need.
all you need is some Uncle Jake in your life.
That's all I see is being him. But there's a couple on Pinterest. Like a lot of people made like fan boards of who they thought would be the characters.
Ooh, I'm looking at this one. I really like it. It's got the boy from um what's that show called that we used to watch that you told me to watch on Netflix? Um I want to say it's Outsiders, but I don't think that's what it's called.
I don't know.
Like with all them kids
With all them kids.
and they're trying to find the gold. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, the Outer Banks.
Outer Banks. See?
Yeah.
It's got that little boy, the little blonde boy in here as one of the fan arts. It looks like that's supposed to be, who do they have that for?
Who do they have him as? Noah.
Noah.
That makes sense. I
And
could see
I
that.
can see that. That one I like. I don't mind that one.
That I could see. I could definitely see that.
I loved Noah. I think Noah was like, out of all the characters in the book, he was my favorite. Um, just strictly because I feel like he was well written. Like I think
Mm-hmm.
he was, when they're like, we as women write these books and we like pick our book boyfriends, like we write how we want them to be. I think that Noah was one of those ones that I was like, I like how he was, written into the story, and he treated her like he definitely was like top tier book boyfriend.
Top tier. Like he was like, I'm gonna fuck the shit out of you, and then I'm gonna treat you real nice. Like I'm gonna treat you real nice. But then he was also like really playful too, which was nice. I just felt like Caleb didn't have a personality.
No.
And so that was where I was just kind of like, like, because even though he didn't talk, he didn't have many, like, many emotions, it was just like, just a shell of a person. Like, he was just a shell.
That's true.
And that's yeah, that was not it for me. So, do you have a favorite quote from this book?
um I don't know if I would say I have a favorite quote. Do you have one?
I do.
I'm like, I don't know. I like their conversation, I guess, when um he was like, when she came back and he was like, I can't believe you're back in Colorado. Like you actually left. And she was like, it was time. Like I like that, but that's nothing sexy.
Oh, yeah. No, my quote's a little, a little different.
I want to hear it.
I like the quote where like it was for her birthday, and then remember Caleb had gifted her like the belt,
Mm-hmm.
and then she was confused because she's like the notches go all the way to the buckle, and she's like, I'm flattered, but my waist isn't that small.
And
And
he was,
Noah
but
and
your
Noah's
wrist
like, but your
are?
wrists are. I was like, yes,
Ooh.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
He kind of went hard with that part.
I was like,
You're
girl,
right.
I'm like, you about to be chained to somebody's bed somewhere. Good
You
for you.
belt. We just talked about a belt last week, and now you're talking about another one.
I'm like, good for you. Good for you, girl.
I
You
know
go
what
on, be
a
chained to
good thought.
somebody's bed. Good for you.
Okay.
I need help.
No, you're fine. I get it. We all need help. There's gonna be some books that we review that we're just gonna be like, maybe we should see a therapist after.
I think overall this was like really good one. Like I feel like it was really easy to read. Like I flew through it.
I mean, you read it in one day
I
after.
read it in one day again yesterday to prepare for this damn podcast. So yeah.
I was reading through old text messages of us talking about this book, and the way I was shocked when they was all on the couch.
Yeah. That was a crazy scene. But then I was just like, ugh, something about her and Uncle Jake. I was like, I just love him. He's so sweet to her. It was just like he was sweet, but then also like very he a daddy. So he very much like I'm gonna act like a daddy. Very protective, you know.
He gave a lot of daddy vibes, especially like the way that he treated Noah and Caleb throughout the book. Like he was definitely their daddy.
Big daddy vibes is what Uncle Jake gave. And
Mhm.
I was here for it. I was here for
While
it.
they all share one woman.
Yeah. And I did, yeah. So I'm like, I guess the only thing that I would change is that she be with Noah because I honestly thought that once in my mind, I was like, okay, Uncle Jake could be with the nanny person, Mirai or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Like, I was like, okay, Uncle Jake could be with her, and then Tiernan could be with Noah, and then Caleb could be, with nobody, and then it'll be happy family.
Not Caleb can be with nobody.
I would say towards the end, it really did seem like he made a full turnaround. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, you would say so?
I would say so. It seemed like once he started talking and realized, like, wow, I really love her, and if I want to be with her, I got to get my shit together and be able to express my emotions to her and stuff. I feel like he had a good turnaround. Not gonna even lie. Can't hate on that.
I guess I need to like reread through it again because I definitely was like not feeling him. But if he made a full turnaround, I mean, he did make some turnarounds. He wasn't a complete dick by the end of the book, I will have to say.
I feel
But
like losing her really like affected him, and it made him realize, like, I got to get my shit together.
I mean, and she was going through her own stuff herself. She was over here talking about my parents didn't love me. Like, that's not my fault. Like, I don't know how to make it through this world without my parents. I'm just here basically.
Yeah, they just had some shit and that they had to work out. Like, she definitely had mommy daddy issues, and he heavy had mommy issues.
Hmm.
And I feel like when they finally explained why he didn't talk, I was very sad for him. Even though he was a dick for most of the book. But I was like, that's really sad. He was locked in a car at 4 years old for 4 days, no food, no water, and then his voice was gone because he was screaming so much trying to get out the car. And I was like, well, I guess, yeah, that would make you not want to fucking talk for a long time.
Yeah, that's actually really traumatizing and sad.
But I was still like, okay, but quit being a dickhead.
Yeah, thing. Like, I'm glad he stopped. I'm glad there was a little bit of a happy ending. I feel like it was less of a romantic ending because if it was more like romance centered, I feel like she would have ended up with Noah. But because it was like, let me give like a shock and awe, it was Caleb because I don't think anybody wanted her to end up with Caleb. And if they did, like, y'all weird. But I mean, all love to you. That's just not my man.
I agree. Because Noah and Uncle Jake, yeah.
I'd have been fine with the both of them. You know, we could have
Like,
did a lot of our own scenes.
but I just wasn't feeling Caleb. But overall, I think this book, I would rate it a 4. Like, it was good. I think the spicy scenes were very well written. They were very descriptive. Like, it was good. I think it was a really good book. If you could get past the part that this is her step uncle and her step cousins, I feel like,
We already passed that, girl. We've
yeah,
been
I know, but I'm saying for other people, because it seems like that's what's like tripping a lot of people up, is they're like, no, but I'm like, once you really get into it, like, it is a really good book, and this is fiction. This is just fun. We're just having a good time.
yeah.
Relax.
It,
It's
like
not that serious.
it's a book. It's
It's,
literally words on a paper. It's not actions happening.
it's a book. You read it and then go back to your real life.
Right. And so that's one reason why I'm like, I don't really, when it comes to like trigger warnings and kinks and stuff, I can't really shame them because it's a book. Um, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I really like this book. I think I'm still gonna stick with my 3.5 rating. Um, there were some things in the book that I was just like, mm, not my favorite, and it's really just, I guess it's like the introductions to the dudes. They were all just aggressive and just like, um, I wouldn't say they were all aggressive. I would say like Uncle Jake was a little aggressive, but I found it a little bit sexy. Um, but I just didn't like Caleb's aggression. I feel like he went about it the wrong way. I think other than that, look,
Well, that first scene when
am
we
I?
got introduced to Caleb was very intense.
Yeah,
like,
and every scene after that with him, he was a douche.
like
Like,
she just is in the garage, and then all of a sudden he comes in with the fucking deer on his back, and then it's just like, let me push you up against this car and let me eat you out. I don't even know who you is, but I'm just about to, like,
that, like,
hold up, sir.
force
Hold
yourself on
up.
me, sir.
I don't even know who you are. Like, that was intense. that was intense. I will say that's not how I expected to meet him.
I mean,
That's not how I expected to meet him. So, you know, that was a pretty good scene.
it was a good one. I'm like, I feel like we left a little bit for the readers to read because, like, we
Yeah.
left out a good chunk of storyline. But I feel like for the most part, I think once you read the book, if you give it a chance, like if you can get past the taboo-ness of it and like the seeming that it's incestuous or whatever, I think that if you can get past that and actually read the book, you'll see that it's a well-written book. Like it's very well written. And I mean, it's interesting. It had me like, I mean, as a Colorado girl, like I was ready to hit the mountains immediately. I was like, let's pack this car and go.
So, would you recommend this book?
Yeah, I would.
I would.
Um, I feel like people are gonna look at me crazy when I tell them like what it's about, but I would definitely.
Yeah, this is one of them books where I'd be like, you just got to read it.
Yeah, I feel like that's how I have recommended it. Like I told one of my homegirls about it, and she's like, I like taboo stuff, and I was like, how taboo? Because I have a book for you, but it's a little taboo, and she was like, um, throw it my way, and I don't know if she read it or not, but when I check in with her and ask her if she read it, we'll see because I feel like this is a book that you don't give anybody a heads up to. You just let them figure it out on their own.
Yeah. Well, overall, I feel like we both really enjoyed this book. This was a good one.
Yeah, this was a good.
So, if you're looking for a book to read, I definitely would recommend this one. Definitely.
Absolutely.
I really enjoyed it.
I'd have to say I enjoyed it too. Um, but
Okay, so join us next week. Well, we will be reading the Never King series
whoop, whoop, my favorite. I can't wait.
and doing a review on that one. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
See you next week.
And it goes a little something like